Today we're going to go through and clean these batteries. You'll see this one happens to be a Toyota Camry. They're all just a little bit different, the type of connectors. Here's the negative side, here's the positive. You'll see both of them are pretty, well, this one's not too bad, but they're still corroded. Plus, minus. The positive always has the red. Now when you take these off, you always start with the negative and then you go to the positive. Now every car has different types of connectors. Now if you look at this one here is from a old Chevelle. It has the old style connectors that go right through the cable. So 2 bolts hold that on, and then this is just a half-inch that holds the positive, and also the same thing as the negative. This battery happens to have a handle on it to make it easier to pull out. So that's a different style of connectors. These are the ones that I really like, even though they don't put them on the new cars. Now this one is from a Ford 2008 F-150. See, so notice that the connectors, they use a little different style here. It's for the positive, and here's for the negative. And it looks a little corroded, but we'll get to that a little later on. Alright, for the tools, I bought one of these. I had one before, but it just got real old and sort of fell apart on me. I'm not sure what this really does. I think these are like $2. One side goes inside the terminal and the other side goes on to the terminal with the battery. But I'll show you how to use that. But one of the main things is good old baking soda. This is going to neutralize the acid, get rid of all that, and we'll show you how I do that too. Now some of these batteries you can actually pop the top off and see down in there and actually add water. But if you're going to add water, make sure it's distilled water, and it only goes up just so far. This could use a little, maybe we'll put some in later on, so we'll leave that for later. But for right now, let's take this off. Now remember, you start with the negative. Every car size is just a little bit different. This one happens to be a number 10. Okay? The other thing is, always wear safety glasses. That's the last thing you want, is acid in your eyes. It's not very pleasing. The other thing is, I do not wear nice clothes because battery acid eats clothes. So, and also don't cross these terminals. They don't like that. Now, before we take this off, make sure that you mark down all your radio stations, and if you have a code, if your car is one of those codes for the radio, you better get it out, because once you take this off, you're going to have to punch that code in. This also will clear your computer if you're having troubles. Just, that needs a little bit more here. Spread it out a little bit. It'll come right off. There, just like that. Okay, then we'll do the same thing for the positive side. They need to be split apart here. There we go. Splits it apart. And it'll come right off. So I put a little water in a cup, and I'll get my baking soda. Put some in there. Mix it up a little bit. Then I'll just pour the baking soda on the battery, pour it on the terminals. You can just put it on too. I just prefer to mix it with the water. And just let it sit there for a while. And you'll see all the stuff just come right off of it. I'll just mix a little bit more and we'll let that react. Mix a little bit more up. See, it's just starting to clean up real nice. Just lay that stuff right on there. So we'll wait for a little bit, let it work itself in. Now this is why I wear not so nice clothes, because if you touch your clothes with this battery acid, it will put holes in it. So what I normally do is the clothes I use when I just use my regular work clothes for cars. I normally put them in the washer afterwards, instead of having them all holed up. So let that just sit there for a while and we'll come back. Alright, this has been setting for a while, so let's wash this off. You can see almost all of it is gone. So what we'll do now, we'll use a little tool here. This comes like this, a couple bucks. And we'll just turn it clockwise inside to clean that all off. And then on the terminal side, we'll do the same. You'll see how nice and shiny that gets it. Takes all that old junk off. Do that one more time. Okay, we'll do the same for this. This is a little bit different. But you just work it around. Then you go one way so that the needles in here all stay the same way instead of going back and forth and they break. The same thing with this, it goes clockwise. Right, so now that we clean most of that off, let's put some more water on there. I just use the garden hose to clean all it off. Also washed down by the battery case and all over. Or if you don't have a hose, get a big bucket, just pour some water all over it. So now you'll see our terminals are nice and clean. See, the terminals in here are nice and clean. The post is nice and clean. The same thing for this side. It's really nice and clean on the outside. Your post is clean and shiny. So we'll put these back on. Now, what I normally do, start with the positive. wanted to, well, before we put the post on, if you wanted to take the battery out, all it is 2 bolts, take this bracket out, and the whole battery would lift out. It's important to have this battery fastened here in case you get in an accident or something, so it doesn't, you don't want it flying around. You want it nice and secure. Okay, so this terminal is really nice and secure. So let's do the second one, and this is the negative. Now remember, I'm going to wash, I'll probably wash these wrenches, my hands, because I just lost so many clothes doing this. Okay, so the battery's all taken care of. That's it. That's all that is required. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that much time. So with this battery, like I said before, it has these little caps, so you can take them off. And if you look down in here, you'll see, if you can see it, there's a line here, and then the water is down farther. So it's down just a little bit of water. I normally don't add water, but in this particular case, I think I'll just add a touch. So I have a little funnel, and I have some distilled water. Just going to put a little bit in. Not much. Just a little bit in each one. I'll just put a little bit more. Oh, I'm sure there's a better tool for this, but okay, so that will increase the water level for each one of them. I'll use a rag that I will throw away because I know it's got all this battery acid on it. There we go. And then what will happen is when you run the car, you'll charge the battery back up. And one more time, I wash my hands. Wash this off. Remember, wear your safety glasses, wear crappy clothes, and then you'll have to reset your radio. Now, some people put dielectric grease on here, or they put a little wheelbarrow grease or whatever they put on. I usually don't. I just leave it like it is. It's up to you. It's your choice. So that's cleaning the battery. Alright, this is a different battery, different car. This happens to be a 2008 Ford F-150 van. Now you notice the battery's on the other side than the Toyota. Also has different type connections. That looks a little corroded there. Now, remember, always the negative comes off first. Remember your radio stations, because they're going dead. If you have an aftermarket radio, a lot of those have codes on them. So you better have the code before you do this. This also will reset your computer to a certain point, but your car will catch up after, I don't know, 150 miles or something like that. So if you're going to have the car smogged, like in California, then they'll probably tell you to come back. So, okay, this one is a 8mm. Now let's get a screwdriver, spread this apart. Wow, this is really loaded on there. Surprised it started. Remember, this battery acid does not like clothes. So, alright, now let's do the positive side. This is a number 10. Alright, let's see how this one comes apart. Just wiggle it right up here. Push it out of the way. I'll get my Arm & Hammer baking soda on. Put some in a cup. Mix it up a little bit here. And start pouring it on the terminals. That one's not so bad. Ooh, look at this one. Whoa. Let that baby go. See, it dissolves it pretty quick. It's real thick on the bottom, so I just lay it right on there and let it sit there. Okay, put some more baking soda and water. Let that stuff just cake on there. Okay, so in the meantime, let's just take a few minutes and let this just do its little thing. Alright, that's been sitting for a while. So since I'm out here in my driveway, just get my garden hose out, clean all this off. Okay, there's still a little bit more left in here. So what I'm going to do, mix a little bit more baking soda. So since there's still some corrosion in there, there we go. I'll just put it off to the side and get it in there. And just let it do its little thing. And it will just eat all that. There's nothing left. Now I'll just do it again. Till it's all gone. Now if I had more room, I would just put this right inside. Okay, there, nice and clean. So we'll use our little tool, a couple bucks from the auto parts store. We'll just turn it clockwise. Get that all nice and cleaned out. On the top. That cleans that post off really nice. I'll do the same with this. Alright. And do this. Always go clockwise with this so all these needles stay the same way. That instead of going back and forth, they'll break them all off. The tool will last a little longer. Alright, one more time here. Okay, if you don't have one of these tools, you can use a little piece of sandpaper. See, that'll clean that up and just roll it up. But it does the same thing. So get it all nice and clean. Wash all this off one more time. Alright, and we'll put the positive on. No, let's see. Positive on first, negative second. So there's our positive terminal. This happens to be another 10. So snug that up. Put the cover on. And we'll put the negative side on. Okay, snug that down. Now we're basically done. Remember, wear safety glasses, wear crappy clothes, use baking soda. I wash all my tools off.